5. Spes non confounded. In the spirit of hope, the Apostle Paul addressed these words of encouragement to the Christian community of Rome. Hope is also the central message of the coming Jubilee, that in accordance with an ancient tradition, the Pope proclaims every 25 years. With these words of Pope Francis, encourages us to undertake a journey of hope as pilgrims of hope. Welcome, Archbishop Martin Kivuva.
Thank you.
Your Grace, in this Jubilee year, how does the Church understand her role in bringing hope to those who feel abandoned or marginalized in the society?
Our church has been announced by our Pope Francis from the year 2021, when the Pope called us to a synod of synodality. I think one of the major reasons was for the church to begin to think about as a community, a communion, and a communion that it brings participation, and the participation that moves into action, which is mission. As I also being one of those who had the opportunity, a privilege, I must call it a privilege, because when we read the church's history and the fathers who went into the synods, you find we, in this particular one, we count ourselves privileged, because there could have been many people that were chosen, but I think I was chosen through the Conference of Catholic Bishops of Kenya. And first of all, we had been in earlier synod. I had been an opportunity before, but this time we came in as a church that is representing and speaking on behalf of the others. We had to launch the synod in our own dioceses and archdioceses. My case, I launched mine in the year 2021 in a parish. We are opening the Apostolic Nuncio, a new parish church, Voi, Our Lady of Queen of Peace, and this moment began a kicking off the Synod of Synodality. Of course, at that as an early age, we didn't think we had to do the diocesan stage. Later on, we had to do the country stage, and we brought back what we collected, put it together. We ended up in Rome in the year 2022, because it was a moment again when the representative had to go to Rome. So the Pope had the idea, and he said it loud and clear. He said he wants to bring people together of different ages, of different caliber, Christian, Catholics, non-Catholics. We sat at tables around, and these round tables were the talking tables, where after what they call the instrumentum laboris had been prepared, the questions were being put out. What are the things we had to discuss? We sat down and did a very thorough discussions without discrimination. Cardinals beside us, archbishops beside us, parish priests, some of them later on joined us, sisters, and even lay people and other churches as well, as I said. So it is very clear that it was a journey. Originally seems to have been envisaged to be maybe 2 years. It ended up 3 years. And it was worth the going back and forth. We had opportunities to discuss matters church that was considered important at this particular time, the expansion of the faith, and also the church's mission to reaching out to the highways and byways. As I went in the first instance, we realized that the document had to be, we had a document we went through, and we went through the document with questions where we had to reflect, where we had to speak, where we had to share. And these matters were given importance, what was seen as key and important. Later on, we were to come back again and look at a summarized document, which we call the last document that came out of the synod. A synod of church, communion, participation, and mission. This final document has all that needed to be discussed. Of course, a lot more would be discussed, but it came to a point now we had to share, all of us, and also agree in a format of the synod what are the main issues pertaining to this. It is about the synod, a church that is listening. It is about a church that is also reflecting about where we are at, the issues of our time today, the issues of the family, the issues of how do we evangelize in today's world, the issues of our separated brothers, if you want to call them, the issues of the Eastern Church vis-a-vis the Latin Church, and areas where we still have challenges of mission because of maybe political or traditionally they have never been evangelized. So the message was, let's expand the tent. Expanding the tent meant and means, I think for the Holy Father, that Christ came for all of us. He kept reminding us, todos, all of us. And we do not discriminate because other people are not our faith. And I appreciate that because that's what the missionary too did come here. When they came, they opened, for example, schools. They opened dispensaries or hospitals. And they didn't say this is for Catholics only. No, they opened it up for everyone to share the wealth that we had. So in brief, I think we are saying that is how I understand it, even after the last document, that the intention of the church is to be inclusive and embracive so that we can give people hope, especially those who find themselves in very difficult moments, the refugees, the migrants, and people who have found themselves on the way and having to be also embraced by the church.
Thank you, Your Grace. And which are specific actions that the signs of hope that we here in this beautiful Archdiocese of Mombasa we can find in order to support and really to empower the vulnerable poor, the refugees, and also the prisoners in the society.
The mission of the church has always been going out. And therefore, in every context, we try to translate that mission in those areas you're talking about, the poor, the marginalized. And as I go around the parishes and the diocese, archdiocese, there's always this reflection. People are saying, look, we are here not because we were brought here. We ended up here either by migrating, because of some challenges, or migrating because of jobs. We have found ourselves here. Hence, a diocese or an archdiocese like Mombasa, especially in the towns, people are all tribes or all religions, others, and all are there together. And therefore, in our context of the Amesian Church, which we call ourselves so, we embraced the model of small Christian communities. And those small Christian communities are basically people living in close proximity, neighbors, if you may want to say so. And those neighbors eventually end up with a group, they pray as families. So for me, that is an obvious reason we see our church as a family of God, starting with the small Christian communities. And these are the same people who now, when they enlarge to smaller Christian community in a context of a parish, they become a unit you may call an outstation or even a parish. In this case of a parish, they elect their own leaders. The father is also part of that. They embrace a moments of prayer, moments of working together, moments of fundraising to support the initiative or to support the poor, to visit the sick, to people who now, when they enlarge to smaller Christian community in a context of a parish, they become a unit you may call an outstation or even a parish. In this case of a parish, they elect their own leaders. The father is also part of that. They embrace a moments of prayer, moments of working together, moments of fundraising to support the initiative or to support the poor, to visit the sick, to visit those who are in prison. And that in that way, they live their faith fully. So the embracing the synod spirit, this was seen as a very important model, particularly from the African church. Initially started off through Amesea. No wonder we were celebrating 50 years of Amesea Christian communities, thanks to the many, the 8 countries of Amesea, and embraced later on by even larger other communities, as much as the whole Africa is thinking and talking that way. So my joy is when I go to a parish, they already decided they want to have an outstation. They're already trying to raise money. They're trying to build community.
Very good. How can the church promote healing and reconciliation in our communities? We know very well what is going out there in other countries, in Sudan, even in Somalia. When we look at the news also, we see how our people in Gaza are really suffering, and many other parts of the world. We feel this is the time really that the church is called to be a promoter of healing and reconciliation among the people. How can we be really agents of non-violence and promote reconciliation?
When Christ, during resurrection, you remember yourself, after resurrection, and he appeared to his first disciples, talked about peace. And peace that is also accompanied by justice. That is one way we are trying to make our people not only know peace, but also live in justice by embracing communities, discussing and sharing what they are going through, and looking at what is causing the problem. Sometimes when you go to a doctor, you tell him you have a toothache. He also asks you, are you eating hard things? How are you? What is causing the pain? What is causing the headache? Is it something you ate or you've been working hard? So what is the cause of these conflicts in many of our cases? There are many. Some are political, which can be just pure political. Others, we have had countries that had revolutions and so on. A country like ours, we have gone through elections, and during elections, there are all these conflicts, some of them long-rooted because of our very same tribes moving one place, dislodging another, and then that becomes another issue of conflict. But if people embraced each other, people sat in a way there was possibility of dialoguing wherever they find themselves, and creating that atmosphere of give and take. It is happening, can happen. But if failure to do that, people opt to taking guns. And when you have taken a gun and the others are taking whatever else he has, the bows and arrows or the stones, you can see where people can end up. It's unfortunate. We have seen the war in Gaza and the Israelis go on for so long now, since October. And the deaths and the amount of destruction of property, the amount of destruction of life, especially from innocent people, children, women, it's unfortunate. I know the balance remains at the center, and people have come on board to try to encourage them to put down weapons. Sudan, the same. Himself, the Holy Father, has been there. We accompanied it from Kenya, the conference, with the two members, myself and Archbishop Obala. And you could see the Pope coming in a wheelchair to tell them, people, guys, you stop fighting. Please stop fighting. He invited them to Rome even and kiss their feet and say, please. But this seems not to happen so quickly. These are signs of our broken world where justice is not emphasized, and maybe people is about war, it's about property, it's about seeing act where we are not pointing the traditional people. We bring as many people as together in different fora. These are meant to make us make what you call an educated, or rather not just educated, but informed choices. You can look at somebody, you can look at what he's promising, he can try to convince you, but you may know something different. So here, every 5 years, this is happening. This, for example, in Kenya, this is the first 3 years, 5 years moment. Then the leader or the leaders go back after the 5 years. They start again and see to elect people. It's an important moment for our country, and we have done it without fear or favor and without taking sides. Of course, many times as you end up, they keep, some people feel and think the church is sided, is siding with one group or the other. We tried that will not be the case, because we tried ourselves anyway, with the help of any other religious communities, come together and encourage ourselves not to be pointing select or elect so and so. Because here now, this is where comes in the abuse of power. Sometimes there are cases where there are allegations of bribery, there are allegations of people getting money, and we try to discourage that also. There are people who go to, because they're given money, so they feel they're obliged to elect that leader, yet they know he's not the one to be elected. So this is it. And it's a year after year. We've learned a lot in the process, of course. We can never be perfect. There are moments when our people, you elect them on this party, as they jump into the election, they go to another party. And then to create a coalition, to create a one government that embraces everybody, it's a very difficult one. We are a presidential kind of government where you have the opposition and we have the governing team. But this has tended to change due to the push from one or two sides. And they're trying to embrace everybody's needs and wills and dreams. We want, thank God we were not, it could have been bad, but we believe this is a big responsibility that the stakeholders who are the people are not just left to the politician alone. they are given an opportunity to hear from different sides.
Very good. So, concerning to the Lenten campaign, this year the theme is the Kenya we desire. The
Correct.
Kenya we desire. Which are the activities that are being carried on at the grassroots in the small Christian communities?
The Kenya we desire has been described by the very same document we have for the promoting the Lenten campaign. We created, first of all, 5 weeks, in each week as a theme. And without going them in a particular order now, there's a theme about corruption, fighting against corruption. Because we see that as one of our biggest disease and problem we've been trying to encounter. In 2019, we also launched it as a theme in itself. We are looking at issues of education as an important sector. We are looking at the area of ecology, environment. We are looking at areas of migrants and seafarers, people who are in transit. And therefore, the 5 themes are, each week there's a theme. And that theme is supposed to be discussed in a context of a small Christian community or a context of a group that is living together. And then we need to, from there, make a kind of a resolution. This is what we feel, there's a gospel reading together with it. This is what we feel we are being educated to do or to be. Of course, it takes time, and 5 weeks go quickly. But remember, it's a whole year. The next Lenten campaign is a year. It's sometime it has spilled over to almost Christmas. We are still talking about, for example, corruption issue. We're still talking about things that hurt us, and therefore, it is not limited only to that range of time, because these are also formation of the conscience is key. No matter what we do, we are combining it with Mass. Many times the Mass is a key moment. And we have also embraced it with the Jubilee year of Pilgrims of Hope.
Yes.
For reasons, because we cannot do departmentalizing things. The Church has embraced the theme of Pilgrims of Hope, as described by the Holy Father, that we celebrate 2025 years since the birth of our Lord. And what did the birth of our Lord bring? Hope. Though he was born in a very difficult moment in Bethlehem, he was able to go be saved, be able to be taken to where the mother and the father had to bring him for a moment until Herod went to the Lord. So this gives us a chance to emulate that moment. So 2025 years are also being celebrated now together with this synod of synodality. Just as you came in, I was one priest who is coming from a parish called St. Michael, Giriama. He came so that we plan the ceremony of that day. So this is the context of a county. Our county there where this church is called Kilifi. I and the consultants, we looked at it, we say let's have 5 places. So in every county, Kilifi will have one place. This is coming now on as a 3rd door. And we go there on the 15th of March. So as we do that, we will have, blessing. They have also, during the process, they have also been able to struggling to have water. They just hit water supported by another group called Catholic Outreach, which have given them water, fresh drinking water. So we bless the water as a way of thanking God for the water, jubilating, thanking God. We will go and also now bless the door And that door of hope, we exactly do like we did in the cathedral, the Holy Father did in Rome, we did in the cathedral, we did in Bura during our pilgrimage, where it is envisaged, it's a door of mercy, also a door of pilgrimage of hope, such that when all those who go through that door, the church promises the graces that are perpetuated by the celebration of the Jubilees. So they are going to have that day blessings of couples that were married for a long while. Some have 25 years, other 30, other 50. We take them as moment of Jubilee. They also discussed about what they will do. They see this church where we are is 90 years old since the time of it was built by the missionaries. So it stood out as a pillar of stability, of strong faith. So we'll encourage other things to take place now. They will be able to do adoration, chapel. They will have perpetual adoration every Thursday, and the different groups will come with different intentions. So that is now embracing the synod, embracing the Jubilee, and embracing the small Christian community that come from there, celebrating their own joys they've had, while at the same time praying for the challenges we have in our context of governance, context about sustenance of families and so on. So this is where we are.
Yes. Thank you, Your Grace. Now your parting shot. You are in this Archdiocese that is heavily interreligious, lives and embrace really the interreligious dialogue. I would like to have your parting shot about the population that you have in your heart, that are the Gen Z. What message of hope would you like to give to the Gen Z in this Jubilee year of hope?
For anyone listening to me, and especially the Gen Zs, we find ourselves at any time in history of anybody going through challenges of their own. Our forefathers who fought for freedom found themselves at the rock and hard place because they were colonized. But somehow or other, some leadership took on, and they sat and planned and talked and went to Lancaster, went to other places, until they found a way to get themselves out of the yoke of the colonizer. Things have happened, but now we have our own, we got our independence, and having gotten our independence, a lot has happened, which is great. The missionaries who came also with us, they built the schools, we partnered with the government. And as you are aware, governments of any place try to embrace the communities they find there. So they embraced, the new leadership embraced the Kenyans who were there in wherever they find themselves. Some were found in areas, the coast, some were found in the Rift Valley, those are then the west. And then they came and created their own, our own constitution. A constitution that reminded us and says, Kenya belongs to all of us. And all that is contained therein. There is a lot of wealth. There is a lot of nice spots, nice places. And therefore, embracing this God-given gift of a country, Kenya or whatever your country you are watching me from, it's a moment to say, how can we share this big cake, beautiful cake? Because if we try to scramble it, we mess it all up. And we have seen what has happened to some countries. Because of some people being greedy or being selfish or being whatever, thinking they're doing good to themselves and their families, they spoil it for the others. So we're encouraging to have a leadership that cares for everyone, open to everyone. After all, when, for example, our serikali or church builds a school, we do not discriminate and say this is for Catholics only, unless it's a place we are training sisters or priests like a seminary. But otherwise, schools are for everybody to enjoy, from the smallest to the biggest school in the country, some private, some church, some government. And therefore, the government we also look at and look forward to is a government that embraces the wills and the aspiration of everyone. The young people, many of them have gone through to school. They are trained. Others have no particular training. But we need a moment to say, hey, how do we engage them to gain employment for those who are at different stages? How do we support them to gain more training so that they are also not just for the country Kenya, but they are employable to other places? And there, this is where we come to say, our young people, let's be also, as we work, be patient. It takes time to grow a tree. It takes time to build a house. It takes time. But we work in partnership with all the stakeholders, the parents, the church, the government, and we look and say, look, this is God's given, God's granted. How do we share it equitably? How do we share these resources equitably? There has been many trials over and over. Every government comes and it has its own inclinations. We've come to a point when we say, yay, should we not go back to a drawing board? We already done that through different fora, which are aimed at bringing all of you, all of us together. We try to complement each other's efforts, not to, we're not trying to throw each other asunder. And therefore, it is important we are also open to ideas, to proposals from both government, both leaders on the ground, leaders in the church, and that's the way to go. Otherwise, we find ourselves ever fighting over one banana, and that one banana is just held by one person or two people. There are many writings about this matter now in our Gazette. Some people are saying at Independence we had 10 million, I saw that now, 10 million millionaires, 10 million millionaires, and now there are 100 million paupers or poor people. It is not that, it's not supposed to be so. It should be a way we all see how we improve each other's life. And I want to appreciate very much the attempts and the efforts already being made in different ways to go this way, to go back to care for those who are marginalized. Remember our readings about the rich young man. He goes to Christ and says, today's reading, he says, what must I do to inherit the kingdom of God? He says, you know the rules, you know the laws, and you know what you must do about God on this and this. So he went through the laws. At the end, Jesus says, okay, you've been okay, but you want more thing to do. Sell everything, give it to the poor, and come and follow me. It means let's share in a way that the poor are also included in the piece of cake we all share as we call Kenya. Last but not least, I cannot leave without thanking God for this opportunity and saying thank you media, all of you and media. It helps us to tell the story and encourage people not to give up. So we are also agents of, they say we are called agents of pilgrims of hope, as communicators, as young people, as people who have gone to school and people are searching for jobs. We don't need to destroy what we already have. We have seen countries now that are happening. We need to gather what we have, secure it, and be able to also walk the path of creating more wealth by working, by looking for opportunities. And there are many opportunities through the church, through the government, through civil society, through families that have wealth, they have companies, they have farms, they have all kinds of possibilities. So without much ado, I must say it's a blessing to have this opportunity. And I want to thank God as I go out and say, we also want to continue the prayer our Holy Father has said, and is himself sick in bed in Rome. We still have the obligation to pray for him and pray that he is healed, he is back to life, he is strong, to see now what he started off as a synod of synodality bearing fruit. I want to appreciate all of you who may be watching me, especially in our own conference. I was myself and Archbishop Muheria as the two delegates for the conference. Others came on board through media, Mr. Sungu from Kenya, and he has sent out a nice newsletter. I've seen it from there. And then others went by to represent or be part of the parish priests. This is Father Ya and another priest from Nyeri. All of us have been influenced by one way or the other by this synodal movement, Jubilee movement, and God is calling us not to give up. There's a lot ahead of us. Let's thank God, and also we pray briefly for the Holy Father and for those who have been watching us. Allow me to say a prayer and say, God to bless the work of our hands. Thank you, Daughters of St. Paul, for producing the books, Pilgrims of Hope, Embrace the Jubilee, and the synthesis of the Synodal Church, Communion, Participation, and Mission. The Daughters of Paul have it somewhere. If they are near you, walk there and ask for the book here. Kitabu cha Sinodi, the Synodality, Jubilee. So we thank God for all those in media, all those others. Tangaza College were here animating the commissioners for justice and peace, and other people who have taken this initiative through media, through just self-witness, through writing books. And it's a work for all of us to change our world for better. May God bless you all. May God bless our technical team here. They came all the way from Nairobi to join the two things, the launch of the Lenten campaign, and they have now listened to what I saw. Congratulations, everybody who knows what we're trying to do. It's informing so that we can change hearts of our people to face God, and thank God we have the capacity and the possibility. Asanteni sana, Mungu wabariki. Maaskofu ndugu zangu, God bless you and bless the work of your hands wherever you find yourself, whether in the west or the central or the coast. Mungu atubariki. Kwa jina la Baba na la Mwana na la Roho Mtakatifu. Amina.
Thank you, Archbishop Kivuva,
Asante.
for granting us this interview. May God bless you, and
Thank you.
also your beautiful apostolic work here
Asante.
in Mombasa. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed.